One of the first things I'm going to talk about is our brain up here, because that has everything to do with who we are and where we're going. And yeah, Vern, that's right, eyes and nose and a mouth, but everyone's got this little 3-pound deal called a brain. Now, over a period of time, there's a great difference in people because there's a great difference in their experiences. And if the experience that people have is more negative than positive, then the negative differential is going to be the one that controls things. And that's why most people live and die broke, because it isn't because they got a bad brain, they just got bad stuff in it, if you know what I mean. And so the only way you can get rid of the bad stuff in it, well, you can't get rid of it, quite frankly. You may cut it out, but then you wouldn't be any good for the rest of it. So there's nothing you can do about getting the bad out. But what you can do, that most psychiatrists and psychologists will not tell you, you can dilute it so you can put so much good in that you dilute the bad so the bad doesn't control, the good controls. Because, see, all a man's power, all of his power, every bit of his power, all of his authority, all of the power and authority for man in life to accomplish and overcome is where? Most people don't even know it. Where is it? Words. It's what comes out of your mouth. This is the key right here, you know? Okay? Just open up that old mouth and let her fly. Now let me tell you something here right now. Everybody in this room, everybody in this state, everybody in this country, everybody in this world, everybody's living at the level at which they speak. Everybody. There's no exception. Man or woman, there's no exception. Everybody's reaping what they've sown. Everybody is reaping exactly what they've sown. Now, if they sow it out of ignorance, they're going to reap out of ignorance. If they sow it out of knowledge, then they can change things. But most people are sowing out of ignorance and don't even realize they have to reap what they sow. So there's much more than you and I in working our way towards the desirable fulfillment of our dreams. And so that's why God said, man without vision shall perish. Vision is being able to see the future in the present and understanding that the unseen controls the seen. That if you don't get things right in the unseen, they'll never show up right in the physical scene, because the planning is done in the unseen for success, and it shows up in the physical scene. And it shows up only because you did the planning properly and protected your crop, so to speak, of the words that were said. Now, the fact is, you've got a brain, and the people that seem to be the most knowledgeable in the capacity of brain power say that you and I have a brain that can do 20,000 trillion calculations per second. In other words, when you walked in this room a few minutes ago, your brain did more calculations than if you put every computer ever devised by a man, hooked them all together with all the power in the world that everyone ever been devised. Your brain had more power than every one of them hooked together, just when you walked in this room and what you saw and how you related to your computer up there. You are a powerhouse of ability that's got to know how to use it. There you have authority and power and ability beyond your comprehension if it's consumed in the right direction, for the right purpose, and your personal involvement in the right way. Now that's true whether you're this religion or that religion or this religion or some other religion. We all have the same brain power. Those in the room that are Hindu and those in the room that are Christian have the same brain power. And just like over in India, if you plant a cornfield and you plant the right and you tend the field over there, the corn crop is going to grow just as good if you planted it in South Carolina, if a Christian planted it. Doesn't make any difference. God's principles apply the same for all, and it never varies for people that use it properly. So here we are in a world that's trying to create, that's doing a good job of creating doubt. People live and die and never know they had power and authority. Unbelievable on this earth. When you find out what your power and your authority really is, the ground will virtually tremble every time you take a step, because you know who you are and you know where you're going. In fact, when you understand it, Failure becomes a thing of the past because you can't fail anymore. Failure is unacceptable, and it can never, ever happen again. And I've reached the point in my life that I expect everything I do to be very successful. Anything else, even when it looks like I'm whooped, it ain't over till it's over. You see, for a winner, once you've got a winning mental attitude, no matter how bad things look, it ain't over yet. It's not over until you win. Because you keep it going until you overcome and become, because you're willing to overcome. The people that quit when the things get going a little rough are the losers. It's knowing how to apply where the authority is, how to grab hold of it, how to use it, and how to master it so that you expect to win all the time. Because failure is unacceptable. And with no special training, no special thing up front, I grew up very poor. My father was an alcoholic. He was an athlete when I was born, but he got run with the wrong crowd and started drinking, and before you knew it, the liquor owned him. He couldn't control it, and that's what I grew up with my whole life until I was about 19 years old, 18 or 19 years old. Had a very, very bad childhood. But see, that was my father. That wasn't me. And I don't have to do what he did that's wrong. Amen? I don't have to do. I'm not. He had to answer for his life, and I have to answer for my life. And so, that doesn't mean just because our daddy did something wrong or our mother did or someone like that we got to. That's why we grab onto where the authority and the power really is, that it's way beyond us. Now, everything I'm telling you right now is in that book. Everything I'm telling you is in that book right there, right now. And I guarantee you it's in Conti's book too. The words may be a little bit different, but you can come up with the same meaning on virtually everything that I've said so far. Now, succeeding is not automatic. It's never going to be automatic, actually, until you make it so. And you make it so and that's what we call education. And that's when you close this gap between the negative and the positive. It's like, come up here. One of you guys come up here just right here real quick right now. Okay, you're a good one. Okay, a couple more would be fine. That's all right. I don't mind a couple. All right. How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, how you doing? Good to see you. Howdy. Y'all new? How long you been in the business now?
A few years.
All right. Now watch. I'm going to do something that's going to be recorded in your head for the rest of your life. Amen?
Amen.
All right, you ready? I hit you pretty hard, didn't I?
Yeah.
Is it recorded up there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, take your seats. You got it. Now, really, that didn't hurt. It didn't hurt anybody, but it startled the first one a little bit. Where's it recorded now? On your shoulder or in your head? Where are you going to remember that? In your head? Is it, Where's it recorded? In your brain? Now, how old are you now? 34? Okay, now let's say you're 94, 60 years from now. If you don't have Alzheimer's, you think you'd still remember it? That's recorded in your brain forever. And so is every other experience you've ever had in your life. Every single experience you've had, good or bad, is in there. And guess what? Most of them have been bad. Because see, what you really want to do, you want to add this right here so that the plus is way above the minus by having positive experiences.